obviously, we should start, I guess, where the moment you said, this is enough, I'm not a sideman anymore, I'm going to do this all solo, because you did jump right out of... it kind of came as a surprise, I guess, to me. I didn't know that you'd obviously been making solo records, but to actually leave the Fleet Foxes and say, I'm solo for good now.
Yeah.
So what was that moment for you?
What was that moment? That decision was really... That was more symptomatic of like kind of a different choice. Like the bigger decision really was like I'm going to do. It was more proactive than that, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm going to do I'm going to devote the time that I have to playing my own music and just be, really being in a band like Fleet Foxes just takes a lot, and to kind of give something creatively the dignity that you want to, when your time is kind of spoken for.
Yeah.
In that way. Yeah.
Yeah. So then it sounds like it was a pretty easy decision for you at that point, just to say that this is it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a very natural. It was a very natural decision.
Did you ever feel like you were stifled then, as you were just as the drummer?
Yeah, I mean, not stifled within my role in the band, but I think maybe at some point I kind of had mistaken, like kind of overestimated how interested I was in doing that for like an extended period of time.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just more for me to do, in this capacity.
Yeah. Well, you seem like you've got a mind that really stays pretty active most of the time, so I guess it's not surprising. And in fact, one of the most interesting things is, and I don't know if persona is the right word, but at one point you assume this persona of Father John Misty, with, I guess,
right.
with this great story of heading out and mushrooms on a novel and everything else, and suddenly, it turns into, as that story goes. What was that for you? And is it assuming in a persona when now that you are Father John Misty and not just Jay Tillman?
No, it's not really a persona. Hopefully it doesn't sound like a persona. That's kind of I think that's part of the fun of it for me, is that it has kind of a patently ridiculous name, but if you actually listen, when you listen to the music, I think it's fairly obvious that they're like explicitly about Josh Tillman, and it's not like a big put on or anything. But it's just kind of fun to confuse people a little bit. And the album is definitely kind of about these issues of identity and myth and like self-mythology, like one's own personal myth, etc. And the name was just like the last thing to happen. The album was made, everything was like in the can, and then it was just kind of this last sort of, logistical decision, like what are you going to call it? And the name really just kind of came out of nowhere. It wasn't, it wasn't like this big, like I'm gonna like become a superhero or some decision. Like it was really just like, what are you gonna call this thing? And Jay Tillman didn't quite seem to fit anymore.
Right.
Which was funny. Which is a funny realization that your own name like wasn't really appropriate for like the type of explicitly honest music that you're making.
Looking into the mirror and not seeing the reflection at that point.
Right. Something like that.
Yeah, but it does fit into kind of the mythology of rock star, and I'm talking about the very generic term there. But that doesn't happen anymore, and I guess that is what's fun as a fan and as a listener. To kind of see you go through and exercise this, this grand tradition that really doesn't take place anymore with most artists. We don't have the golden god stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yet you are exercising the mythology of the rock star. Whether so it's not a persona, but there's still something, and it's the way you perform on stage as well. It is so interactive.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely like a in terms of like how often you see that anymore. I guess you see it a lot. the persona thing, maybe, I guess you see it a lot kind of in, like, certain commercial music realms, like, probably more, I guess you see it a lot with females these days. I guess you see a lot of, like, a lot of the pop music, like, female pop music are just sort of this, like, these outrageously, like, overblown personas, etc. I think kind of what's funny about my thing is that it's happening in sort of like these, like, sort of like slender memes informing it. Like it's almost like it just kind of looks like one person's imagination going wild, as opposed to one person, like, an army of, like, aesthetic advisors with $1 million imaginations going wild,
Let the lunatic run the asylum here, and this is what we get. Father John Misty.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just me having, it's really just, I mean, for people who've known me for a long time, it's behavior that's nothing new, like, it's really just how interested I was in introducing those aspects of my personality into my creativity. And for a really long time, there were just kind of these, like, I just didn't really know how to do that. And I don't think I really was interested in doing it because, I know the risk that comes with, like, being funny or being entertaining, and that's that that's that people think that you are that person all the time, and that you are accessible as that person, and that you are always, funny, and they mistake humorousness for, like, just kind of happy-go-luckiness, and, there's sort of a risk involved in putting, like, that much of your real self into your creativity. I was really guarded for a long time, but I think at this point I am just kind of interested in like, I'm not as precious about myself anymore, and I think I'm, just kind of interested in, like, throwing a Hail Mary or something, and it's just, like, more exciting to actually be myself on stage. You know what I mean?
No, I do, and it's been really a thrill to kind of, I guess, watch you bloom as the little flower that you've become.
Yes, thank you.
Wiley from Dolls and I were talking just at Bonnaroo, and we were going on, and you kind of led to this, but your dance moves are something of an art form in themselves. And in fact, what we decided was that you've given hope for tall, lanky guys to say that yes, we can dance. So
yeah, I mean, yeah, there's, like, the tall, lanky thing. I just think that I mean, you kind of are afforded the opportunity as a tall, lanky male. You're kind of, like, afforded an opportunity to dance more like a cartoon character or something than any other body type. So it's kind of fun.
I was self-conscious till now, but I owe it to you, Sarah. Thank you very much. Growing up in the 90s, we only crossed our arms, and looked down at the ground, and you've shown me a new world.
I know. It's fun. It's actually really funny to me that, like, the most, like, eccentric, off-the-wall, novel thing that you can do is get up on stage and, like, actually entertain an audience. It's really crazy that we've come so full circle that, like, all I'm doing is getting up on, like, with that Letterman thing, like, all I did was get up in a suit and sing my fucking ass off and, like, dance around and be engaging. Like, but that's completely insane to some people, it's really funny.
Well, so many bands that they just stand there, they go through the motions and then they're out, but no, it's great. I do want to hit back on this this whole, the story about the novel. So you head out on, as you say, some good mushrooms, and you start writing a novel. Did that get finished? Is that out?
Yeah, it's in the album itself. Like, there's, like, 2 gigantic posters in the album that have the novel on it. It's a footnote to the lyric, I'm writing a novel.
Right.
Yeah.
But I want this great tome from you, I think. Now that we've got the taste of it, now that, that idea is implanted right here. I'm looking for the great huge book. Your version of Gatsby, I think.
Yeah, it's sort of more my version of The Wasteland or something than The Great Gatsby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something you could get more to doing? Something lengthier?
Yeah, I would like to write. Yeah, this thing was, well, I think I vouch for the content. I think it's funny. It's really, to me, it was just so kind of part and parcel to the process of making the album that, I thought it was like somewhat appropriate to have it in there.
Mm-hmm.
And also just like really hilarious to have like an actual novel in your liner notes,
Why not? Everything
it's
else
pretty funny. It's really it's like the last thing in the world people are expecting. So I don't know.
You seem to be getting to be a master of. There's quite a bit of a.
I'm laughing more than any of you. Ha ha ha.
Joke's on us. There is some interesting lyrics in there, though. Do you have a distaste for Hollywood? Because you are surrounded by lots of folks. I mean, it looks like some of your friends are obviously actors and comedians and everything. But there's some lyrics that does come off like showing the mirror on themselves, and this is what you see.
Well, all entertainers are in some it takes some degree of contempt for yourself and for your audience, to be an entertainer. I mean, a lot of the time, entertainers are people who see the world as these banal, boring places full of boring people who can't entertain themselves. And that may be I mean, I'm just kind of riffing right now, but I mean, yeah, sure, I have contempt for everything and everyone, but that doesn't. To me, that's not mutually exclusive with deep empathy, which which on a very real level reveals the lack of differences between us, etc.
Right. Yeah, contempt for everything and everyone. I guess that also involves Fox News.
Yeah, I mean, it's all funny to me. It really is all just kind of a big. It's all a cosmic joke or something,
Mm-hmm.
It's a cosmic. I'm up at 9:30 in the morning talking about myself right now. I have no idea how it's coming off. It's all just kind of hilarious.
It's coming across great, and I appreciate every minute of it. In fact, I'll let you get back at this point, but I have enjoyed the tweets lately. The Fox News stuff has been fantastic.
Nice. Yeah, that shit is just those are slow moving targets. It's really fun.
But to see you come off with as many as you do, I mean, that's it's fun to keep up with that. So
yeah, totally.
Please do keep going and keep making music and keep doing everything because we're really enjoying it over here.
Oh, awesome! Thanks a lot, man.
I appreciate every moment you give me this morning, and hopefully we'll see you around these parts at some point.
Okay, it's Louisville, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll definitely be. I'll be down there sooner than later.
All right, man. Have a great day.
All right, you too.
Bye.